Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is Professor Spira.
Brother Air.
Baby Babaji.
And you are now plugged into the Immortality Pipeline. This is a show where we will endeavor to discuss the potentials of the human body and what exactly is it that takes us out. What's the thing that we can change that we never think to change that we actually can change and really try to pursue an unknown potential in terms of the human body and how it operates. And folks here in the studio practice something called the Mucusless Diet Healing System that was written by Professor Arnold Ehret in the late 1800s, and through personal through the personal experiences of a community, of a group of people, a community of people in Cincinnati, we are uncovering a lot of the, or you could say rediscovering a lot of the information about how the human body truly operates, because if you turn on the TV, it's pretty obvious that that medical establishment does not have a clue about how the human body works when they're, when you're at a time and in a time in history where you can turn on the TV and they actually have commercials talking about, all right, take this pill, this is gonna make you feel better, but 1 out of every 5 people might, you might have rectal bleeding and you might have nose, bleeding and this. And
the sad part about that is that it is on television, so somebody's buying.
Oh, people is
somebody's
right.
paying for that
Somebody's
advertising.
paying,
No matter what they tell them, they could say, "Look, you're gonna."
Right, you might. Just, they're getting close.
Die.
In fact, you probably will die. But just take this.
And they'll get orders.
You're gonna feel. We do guarantee you'll feel better. You'll either die or you'll
because the pain has set in. So the pain that we go through, and that the human body is going through, they will try anything, man. I mean, that's what suicide is about.
Right.
Annihilation. It comes from pain, man. And so physiological pain is where it starts at, and then it goes into mental and and emotional and all that kind of thing. So.
What you got there? You got something from the popular culture on your head. What is that?
Well, it was
strange.
A $5 hat.
Oh, okay.
From Value City. So I had been looking for hats for about a month after I lost my one, and so I seen these $5 hats, and it makes me more approachable, I guess.
Right. People really. That was messed up. Those times we're walking around and people thought you were younger than me.
Yeah.
We was over at the college walking around, and people was coming to you, talking to you like I was this old person. And so I was like, okay. But so you really look like a 16-year-old now. You got the perfect apparel.
Yeah. Today last couple of days I've been going through some serious elimination. And a friend asked me, I was talking to him this morning, master drummer Reginald Willer, and he said, man, well, what? He's like, man, what kind of sickness you talking about? How can you get sick? And we don't look at it as being sick, I'm sick. We look at it as an elimination. Through the daily enemas, you start recirculating certain things that might have been in your body for years and years. And now the one thing that I've noticed over the last year or so, I've had about 3 of these kind of eliminations, but they don't become like full-blown fevers or full-blown headaches. they just become like just real annoying in the day. You know what I mean? Just to, my body's a little achy. I mean, I'm still functional.
There's another thing that people don't realize also is your level of what you feel or is so heightened too. As I was always say, if I were to go through the kind of eliminations that I used to go through now, that might kill me.
Right.
Because that to this body, the things I used to go through on a daily basis would be pure torture. I mean, just the most pain.
And we know to lay down now. Just lay down and stop.
Lay down and stop.
Where we used to try to thought we were, some Superman and, keep going and try to take some NyQuil on the run. But the elimination has been, just been a little achy. And the more I lay down, if I'm hitting the air, if I'm outside or something, I'm feeling functional. But just being in the house, and I still have to turn on the heat. Now, I know that sounds crazy to the people that I'm still turning on my heat to my house, but I mean, I'm still turning on the heat.
Got my heat.
85, Jack. And
this air conditioning thing is really insane.
I mean, it's
craziness.
Well, it goes with how do you store
store
meat?
dead things,
dead meat.
Things that are dying
You
and
refrigerate
decaying.
it.
Put it in cold.
Put it in the cold.
Turn up the cold and this.
So I mean, you go in like one of these apartment stores or something. It's like 25 degrees.
Right.
And people in there like they can't even feel it.
Oh yeah.
They're just sitting on top of the world, man.
Right.
I'm just like, I cannot take this 5 minutes of this, and I got to go.
Right.
You dig? So I mean, it's just a matter of changing your physiology and trying to become human. That's something that we might need to talk about in terms of a normality of what we have accepted as human beings. Death, and we have accepted death at any age now.
Right.
And we will make the excuse that, well, it was a disease or it was this. But I mean, we have become so accepting of death. It's appalling.
Right.
It's appalling in that every day every day should be committed to trying to wipe out death. And that seems like what the purpose of us as a people. It's because then we could get on with living.
Right.
We didn't have to deal with the death part. But we just have accepted it, and it's like self-fulfilling prophecy. We go down that road, we eat and drink anything, man, and think that and be surprised that I had a heart attack, I had a stroke, I got something that they're diagnosing as cancer.
The pet peeves with me is when I hear people. Something happened to like a close person or a loved one or somebody's sick or they're calling it sick, and and they're like, man, we don't know what it was. I mean,
right,
that's my whole thing is that
everything
we need to just we need to accept. Whether you stop, whether you change anything or not, we all need to be on the one in terms of understanding that the things we're putting in our body are not supposed to be there.
But people can talk about what happened to them in terms of some kind of elimination or sickness, as they call it. And for some reason, it will not register what they put in their body. They will leave that out of the equation.
Yeah, everything else is I went outside and it was a little chilly outside. And my hair was wet, so I got sick.
Right. I had this or I had this.
I ate some. I got this.
But they
'cause I
never.
didn't cook
And
it
then
enough.
they say they eat healthy.
Right.
That's another misnomer in terms of just what people have accepted as healthy. They eat healthy. Listen to that word. They eat healthy. You can't eat healthy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Only thing you can do is eat to eliminate.
Right.
What
You
is a scam?
Well, I mean, it's just ignorance. People think that food is building their bodies up. I mean, I haven't had anything in over a month and a half, probably. Professor, I think you still on your piece. It's been about 6 now.
Yeah.
So,
almost.
so, I mean, here we are, and if we didn't tell you that we were fasting like this, you wouldn't know.
Right.
You wouldn't know because we don't look like any kind of Holocaust, victims or anything,
Right.
like with bones showing and but it's the mechanics and that we understand that food is not building up anything. And by no means, I'm not telling people not to stop eating. That's not what this is about. What we're talking about is learning to use the food to transition away from eating. You dig? I mean, just getting yourself to the point where you don't have any kind of appetite or I don't even like that word appetite. That's just a strange word.
Strange
But
concept.
but getting to the point where you just are not eating and feeling good and noticing when you do eat that you feel bad.
Right.
A complete change physiologically has to take place, and it is going to take place because I see it taking place in a backwards kind of a way where people are dealing with the environment and dealing with things, but they're coming like backwards to it.
Right.
They're going to get to it.
Yeah,
they're going to eventually get to it.
Starting outside of the body.
Outside of themselves.
Everything outside
of them. But it's going to come down to the body, and because now everybody's on the environment and this, and we were talking about the guy with the pizza fusion, and he had his restaurant, and he was just so proud of what he was doing about buying the ingredients 5 miles. No less than 5 miles, no more than 5 miles away from his establishment, and that saves on gas and organic ingredients on his pizzas and solar. He had like a little solar panel that he wants to do the whole store in solar, just total energy, eventually one day, and that is some kind of consciousness. But he's still serving you mucus.
Still mucus, right?
He's still serving you something that is diametrically opposed to you living, But he's so adamant about what he's doing outside of the body.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? When it comes down to him making some money, I bet you he won't change that organic, those pizzas to oranges and apples.
Right.
You dig, and so.
Say, Professor Spira, how you feeling with your elimination?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just I'm in my transitionary mode back to the world of eat. But usually once I start saying that, it's it takes a while. But that was something I kind of do that might be different from other folks that break fast after a long period of time. Is instead of just one day I've had nothing but juice, and then the next day eating solid food, I kind of transition over a period of like a few weeks or a month, and not really learning from you that first time. When I was privileged enough to witness Brother Ehret do the 9.5 month fast. I saw you broke the fast. I learned a lot about life, boy, because I'm telling you, I learned a whole lot about life. So when I was privileged enough to be in a position where I had done a somewhat long-term fast, I just thought, well, let me try, instead of just breaking it with solid food just out the blue, let me try to just see if I can transition back into where, it's like juice, and then it's a little thicker juice, and then where there's a period where it's very blurred in terms of, is this solid? It's not really solid, blurred, but it's not juice anymore. It's the transition. But I found that I've been able to
become soup.
Yeah, soup. Yeah, right.
Thicker soup.
thicker
like
until and
eventually gets to that.
Smooth. Thicker and smooth. You get into all kinds of start really. I got into and I haven't hit it yet, but I'm getting ready. But start really making like banana puree and mix that with my juice and strawberry puree, where instead of juicing
no tartar sauce, right?
No. I left that out. Yeah. I
have you been into the cottage cheese? Have you had any kind of taste for that kind of stuff? The cottage cheese.
When? When you talk about the past 2 years, that was a lot. That was a while back when I did that. I mean that was a piece that was that was a while back. That's before I started doing long fast. But I mean there's certain recipes he's talking about. The cottage cheese recipe, and there's certain recipes.
Those are transitional. Yeah, recipes.
Transitional recipes that you can use if you're craving something that's just out the question. Then there's certain things that you can have that you wouldn't just think up on your own, but they eliminate better, and so and they and they fill that void of whatever you was craving. It'll take care of it, and that's one of those is the cottage cheese and what is it? Cottage cheese.
What I heard. This is change the subject. Well, I guess we never really changed the subject. Always about the diet. But I think they had listed Cincinnati as the #1 vegetarian restaurants. They had more vegetarian restaurants in Cincinnati. So that was kind of interesting. I mean, now if you trust those who take those polls, but I actually seen one right up there as I was driving by up on McMillan by the health food store. It's actually a vegetarian, it's like a little fast food, but. It's saying vegetarian,
Vegetarian fast food?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that kind of makes sense. Here's your apple. See you.
Your apple, right.
See you. Here's your banana. See you.
Right.
That's kind of appropriate.
Right.
But, I mean, they probably were cooking, all kind of starch and grains and stuff like that.
Right.
And maybe the cheese piece.
Oh, yeah.
The whole vegan and the raw foodists, they are the vegan and the raw foodists. Like I say, there ain't no raw foodists. When they call themselves a raw foodist, they don't eat. I mean, I don't know any of them that eats fruits and green leafy plants.
Right.
So
and pine tree seeds.
Yeah. And why is it that you get so hyped about? And see, they start out, like they say they're gonna be a raw food, no transition whatsoever. They might be vegetarian, but I'm gonna do the raw food now. And they get hyped and they do it for a few days. Then all of a sudden that mucus starts recirculating, and they get the craving for some, for poison, because that's all it is when you have those cravings. It's like poison inside of you, craving poison. And so, they'll try a few seeds. They'll still call themselves a raw foodist, but they'll, try a few seeds and nuts and things like that. But the raw foodist is the one who eats fruits and green leafy plants only. And then there's the fruitarian. So,
right.
Say, brother.
Yeah.
Do you eat any nuts or seeds?
No.
I mean,
no,
like
I
when
fast.
You're fast?
I fast. I remember we was in Chicago and I was getting cold. Let me tell this story about Professor. Every day we were together and I was saying, you got your key. You got your key. You got your key. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I was just like, I was getting to the point where I know I was annoying him. At the same time, he was annoying me with this elimination he was going through. I mean, he must have used 7 boxes of tissues that weekend. And every day, I'd be like, you got your key before he locked the door. Got your key. Okay, got your key. So we were in some part of Indiana.
Man. In the middle.
I mean, you talking about Ku Klux Klan state,
man.
because the one guy made that statement.
Yeah,
that was helping us get the key. After I ended up going in to get some juice. I bought him one, bought it back. I said, I want another one. I asked him, he's like, nah, I'm fine. I get out the car. At the same time, he decides he wants one. Now, he comes in and locks the keys in the car. And it's freezing. My coats is in there. We in some place in Indiana, and it's just cold. And man, it was it was freezing. And we were running into they were helping us. It was like these Ku Klux Klan racist type of, white guys was helping us get our car open. They were constantly using like racial slang, racial, like what? I was like, what did you say?
Yeah.
He's like, well,
man, but they always preface. Before they say something like, man, I know you shouldn't be. As the one guy was talking like he was a black person. He was one of them. But he was like, nah, I know this. This. Nah. This shouldn't offend you. But these. Hey.
Yeah. It was deep. But bringing up the nuts. I was so cold.
Right. And you hadn't had any.
I hadn't. I was freezing. It was like every man for himself. I left Professor like out here, like to deal with. I was like, man, I went like across the field,
into
to some little truck stop thing. I was just freezing, and so the nuts came in, something to circulate my blood, and get me, create a little heat. So,
cause you had even had some even earlier.
That
whole when we was
we
parked.
We were
one of them Chicago spots.
We were getting ready to leave.
You got some.
We were getting ready to leave.
You
had these cash phones. 10-year-olds wearing in at 200 pounds. That's common now.
Yeah,
that's common. They think Baby Babaji is small for his age.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody will be 2 or 3 years younger than him and just tower over him like a man, but that's the milk and the dead animal flesh.
Yeah, I'm thinking, just 10 years later, if I was coming up now, I might be skinny because I was like picked on, for being big. I was probably, I guess I was about 150 or something, when I was.
That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight to, be walking around at 10 years old, 11 years old. It's just a lot of weight. And even though, we don't talk about weight on this show
and because
in this case, we will delve into
get in. But
know.
the whole thing is that a lot of people don't understand, and you would have to really understand and study the diet and physiology to get this. But in actuality, a lot of the people that are running around here that's so skinny, or the people that are put on this pedestal, like, oh wow, they can eat anything. They have great metabolisms, and they can just, they eat the same amount and the same things that the obese person eats, but they are skinny, so they're looked up to like they're healthy.
Well, it's like a couple.
Wrong.
It's like a married couple. One of them will eat and is a mucus. The other one is uric acid. One is obese, I mean, well, not even obese, but one, has this mucus tendency.
Right.
And one is uric acid.
Right.
And so, but they're eating the same dinners every day, same lunches or whatever. And one picks up a lot of weight and the other one doesn't.
Right.
And that means that, okay, what is that telling you? It's telling you the same chemicals are going into the body. They're eating the same thing.
Right.
There's a different chemical reaction
right.
that happens with a uric acid because the same poisons is there. So, just because you're skinny, don't believe you can't have strokes and heart attacks.
And they often do.
And that's
why, people, and again, comes up to my pet peeve where, some skinny so-called healthy person will, have a 50 years old or 45 or something. Well, and they have a stroke and die, and then everybody's is like, oh, man, I don't know what it was. This is so sudden. And no, he was just at McDonald's yesterday.
I don't think Dr. Jerome, who does a show here on Fridays from 9 to 11 called Talking Jerome, he had went through a stroke about almost 2 years ago. He was a thin guy. You just thought he was
right.
in, the best shape that you could be in. And I don't think he would mind us talking about it. If you're out there, man, call in and talk a little bit about it. Because
and also, everybody call in to pledge.
Yes,
for WAIF Member-thon. Please call in.
Please.
And pledge.
So I mean, he's on the man. I mean, he's phenomenal. In terms of getting himself back together again, and you couldn't, unless he told you he had a stroke, you wouldn't know. He still feels it's a way to go. I think he says he might be about 70%, but that kind of thing is where he just did not, take it into account what he was putting in his mouth. And it's very easy to forget that during the day. You get to running and trying to make money and just trying to pacify everybody, and your health, gets put up on the shelf, and you start eating really, pick up this here, pick on the run. And
right, you justify.
I remember he said after, this was about 3 years ago, 3-4 years ago, I had done his show, and I just came off an 8.5-month fast, and I had done Talking Drum, and we were on the show, and we were just, 2 hours of just talking about the diet and just what I was, what I went through and everything, and and he was, and after the show, he said he went over to Buskin's and got about 6 jelly donuts. You see, so I mean, the craving is such that it just make you go crazy. I mean, you talk about. I mean, in your head.
It just makes you want to have suicide.
Yeah, I mean,
And where we gotta go is, once you get folks that are, that are conscious that now here's somebody that might be having a mouthpiece. There's a bunch of folks out here that's got mouthpieces in terms of that's in the community. That's like, all right, we're gonna do this, and we, and they talk. Now what we need to be talking about is what does it actually take to do what you are wanting to get done. And
it actually takes
prioritizing.
Yeah, like this is health is the most important thing in your life.
Activism.
Yeah.
The most militant activism in
very
terms
revolutionary.
Like this has to be the center of the thing.
Center stage. I mean,
and
everything else revolves around it.
Right. And you cannot let anything get in the way of it.
So now Dr. Drama is on this tear, with eating, a lot of raw foods and things, and so. He still won't do his enemas, but I'm still working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'll just get him a bag. I think he has a bag, but now he'll get to him. I know he'll get to him. You know,
Yeah.
I think he'll get to it.
It'll come.
'Cause, once he does that first lemon in him, it's on. He'll never stop.
Yeah.
He'll never stop.
Yeah.
You know. So
Well, let's get these on out the way here. We got lowering your phone bill. Are you tired of outrageous long-distance phone bills? Confused about what type of wireless phone service, internet, or pager you really need? Log on to www.geophones.com, which can link you to sites that offer inexpensive or free long-distance internet answering machines and a myriad of other great products and services. Find just what you need online at www.geophones.com. Also, be sure to stay tuned after this program to Hans and German tunes of the Queen City. Then the observation deck down there at Crew Tower. Check out the observation deck that's on the 49th floor down at 4.
not to be used for
Vine Street.
suicide.
Not to be used for suicide. So it's recommended. Don't
Go for recreation.
Yeah, if you
Look over the
look
city
over,
and
look at the
in Kentucky and
and analyze while you're up there. Look at the folks. Are always like, oh, people look like ants. Well, yeah, they look like McDonald's ants that go in, and they go in and they're just our ants are carrying around all the stuff that's heavier than them. You see these mugs coming out with these big bags. It's like okay. And also be sure to tune in to Lee Harvey on Sundays 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. for Outside Inside Jazz program.
Yeah.
And of course, we still have 9 minutes left, and we would
call
be
up.
wonderful if we could have some people call in and do a little pledging.
yes.
Doing the member-thon. We have for $15, you get a basic membership level. $25, you can get a economy pedometer. $50 shopping tote bag for everyday use. $75 donation gets you a racing stripe cap with which is two-tone black and red. For $100, you can get Slim Clock FM radio, multifunctional 4-in-1. And for $125, you get your name or your name of a loved one on a stone that'll be placed outside of the radio station. And for $500 donation, you can get it all.
Get it all, and you can get a consultation from Brother Air.
From Brother Air, you can meet the man that does not eat.
And get an enema bag.
Yeah,
I'll
we'll just start throwing
bring
in
it,
the whole kit. We'll give you the starter kit, the Mucus starter kit. And also, still working on the site, but you can definitely go to www.breathairmusic.com and it'll redirect you to our current MySpace site, and you can get involved with some of the things that are going on there. Have a nice little network, a little community, so you can visit all of our friends and see what's going on there. But a lot of good communication avenues are being created there, and so it's a.
Who's in the band?
Who is in the band? Well, we're talking about the Breatharian Ensemble, ladies and gentlemen, and the members of the band are myself, Professor Spira, and we have saxophonist Dr. Who. We have the
Saxophones and piano.
pianist holding it down. Correct.
Yeah. We have to.
We're all multi. I guess we
We have to say that now. He's invested.
yeah, right. He's earned.
So now he's a pianist.
He's a pianist now, right? And Uncle Eddie Brookshire on the bass, and the oldest member of the band, of course, Baby Babaji, and then the trap drummer that the only opportunity you're gonna get to see somebody play with their hair on the trap drums, Brother Air, and that is.
I don't know if I can do that every solo. I won't have no locks.
Right.
I start tearing them up.
Tearing them up, right.
But every now and then when I'm feeling myself.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and, you know.
Roots.
So that is what's going on. You know, like I said, there's some, the most, the most revolutionary thing that you could do or be a part of is changing your diet. You know, controlling what you put in your mouth. That's the highest level of revolutionary that's there. You know, and we all need to be revolutionaries at this time.
And watching the functions of once you put it in your mouth, what happens? You know, watch your elimination. You start critiquing and analyzing and understanding the mechanics of really what's going on, you know, because nothing's building anything. Food's not building anything. And, wow, what'd you do?
Just stuff's going on over here. I don't know.
Well, we got
you know.
difficulties.
Yeah, I mean, it just, everything just went up an amp. You know
Okay, I think we're straight now. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's time. You know, it's time for us to stop trying to kid ourselves about this thing we call health. You know,
let's change this culture.
Let's change the
you
culture.
Know, let's get out of this deaf culture,
right?
And start, you know, getting into a living culture because, I mean, this thing is demonstrative and just as backwards.
You know, let's end the Middle Ages.
Yeah,
you know, let's end this thing now.
I mean, you would think that we just started wearing shoes yesterday.
Right.
You know. I mean,
right.
I mean, that's how backwards this thing is.
Yep.
And the normality of it that we've gotten used to as, I mean, it's sickening. I mean, it is sickening. So, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about
it for today. Yeah. So it was as always, you know, it's such a privilege to have the opportunity to get the broadcast out to everyone, you know, out to the world.
A real privilege.
And, you know, and definitely, you know, if you don't donate to our show, you know, donate to the station, maybe, you know, call Hans up right after us, you donate, know, just get the money down here because we need it, you know, and this is something we need to keep, you know, and so yeah, this is Professor Spira,
Brother Air,
Baby Babaji, and this is the Prof Ensemble.
Yeah, all right, so we out. Peace, love, and breath.